Let's start it up here. We have Sen in the top left corner, the blue Zerg from Gamma Maya Bears.
Now,
Gamma Mia.
I went to that discussion, by the way, of getting the 4th and 5th base because that style is something that's very prevalent on this map in particular. Bel'Shir Beach actually is curtailed for that style, I would say. So, you know, really nice choice of map overall by Sen. But let's go ahead and introduce the other player, Mr. Frodan.
Yeah, we have Eugene, also known as Strelok from Team FXO. And Strelok playing very Strelok-like in TVZ. We've seen him try to do this against Vibe, which he was very successful in. Not as successful against TLO because TLO's style is just so peculiar compared to most Zergs. We saw him stick on Zergling and Zergling for a really long time. I remember that Shakira's Plateau game. Incorporated some banelings, but remember that huge massive attack from all different fronts. It was fantastic. If you guys didn't catch that VOD, definitely go check it out, youtube.com/NAStarLeague. Regardless, though, this is Bel'Shir Beach. Andre, how do you like it? We saw Polt versus Sheth the other day, which was a phenomenal game, which, again, you guys should check out. But Bel'Shir Beach, what are your thoughts, especially now that you said Sen has 4 or 5 base, especially on Bel'Shir Beach? What can Strelok really do on this map?
Strelok has a couple of options. He can play this super aggressive and try to take the 3rd base over here. And what that does gives a very nice push distance from this to the top right-hand positions. That's really nice and comfortable for him, and especially for his style, because he always wants to do those constant pushes, and keep the aggression on his opponent. Sen, on the other hand, is looking to obviously get as many expansions as possible. Now, depending on where Strelok actually takes his expansions, he needs to react to that. So if he takes it over here, he actually needs to power off of 3 bases for quite a long time and try to force his opponent to uncomfortable positions. There are drop potentials over here where you drop your opponent's main and then hit the 3rd, or drop your opponent's natural and then hit the 3rd. Stop your opponent from getting this position, because if he or she is able to situate this area, it's a very uncomfortable situation, and it oftentimes leads to the demise of Zerg.
And so, yeah, those are some of the things that Strelok has in his arsenal now. Strelok, his TVZ has just been strictly defined by mid-game Marine tank. That's just what he loves doing. And he's opening the same way as he did in Key number 1. Command Center first, and with Barracks thereafter. Could double gas, go Hellion and Banshee, tries to even deny a 3rd. We've seen that style played pretty decently before on Bel'Shir Beach. Now, again, we want to bring up the fact that they have played in the past, but Strelok's really good TVZ in general. If you look at his win percentage, it's 64%. And Sen, it's his weakest matchup, but still very good by his measurements. It's at 56%. And I think overall, both of these players have been playing very well. And I'm excited because there's been macro games thus far, and it looks like we're having a pretty peaceful macro game thus far, too. I
think Strelok messed up his... actually, I know Strelok messed up his build. He got the 2nd supply dip, and a lot of times you do that just on... because you're on auto control, autopilot. And you don't actually need the 2nd depot because your command center actually relieves that. So it's unfortunate. That's going to put his gases behind, which in turn puts his factory behind, or whatever defense you need for the beginning stage. I do want to mention it was very fast metabolic boost coming out from Sen, and he did this in response to his opponent's fast command center. So we'll see what he does, if he has any plans for this a little later on. There are a lot of Baneling busts potentials that Sen is capable of.
We've seen Roach Bane a lot, not just in NASL, but I remember in GSL, DRG, Leenock did that a lot, especially on Bel'Shir Beach. The ramp is just incredibly wide for that kind of style. But Strelok's changing it up. We said before he loves Marine Tank. He's going for triple barracks with the fast tech lab and for a really quick stim. And this is very different from the Strelok we normally see, and this is really cool because, you know, it's game 3 where, you know, maybe Sen expects something by now, but Strelok is changing it up. What do you think of this build thus far?
He has shown Hellion builds from here on out, so changing it up is pretty nice. Sen has been a player that doesn't really like to go Zergling Baneling in the beginning stage, so I think Strelok is saying, let's punish that. Let's try to hit my opponent when he's taking a very fast 3rd base. And also Sen has shown that too, very fast 3rd bases. So I think Strelok is saying, let's get a timing. Stim is going to finish. Combat Shield should finish at the same time. He actually has it set up very nicely. And he'll push out with probably a good 20, 25 Marines around there. At least that's where I'm assuming it's going to go to. And with that, he's going to try to get into this position right here between the hatchery and the Vespene gas. If he can get there, he will be able to deny Sen's base. But oh my gosh, Sen somehow is reading this. I actually want to look into his... his
Overlord spots nothing really, just sees Marines. I think because by now you would see Hellions onto the map. You
do see the refinery and the fact that he only had 2 on it, as well as the amount mined off there. It's not actually as much as it normally is if you go Hellion. Because So it's a little bit of a tell, but still making the Baneling Nest this far in advance. I don't know how he was actually doing that, but Red always says, if you're scared at all,
just drop a Baneling.
Just drop a Baneling Nest.
He said it on the stream. He said it multiple times. It's just very wise insurance, just to make sure you're prepared. 24 Zerglings on the way for Sen, and he's still droning, showing really good signs of confidence that he has what he takes to hold this off. Combat Shields is about to finish. +1/+1 just started, so Strelok, he's also prepared to fall back and really transition out of this if he needs to, but he's going to get the position very soon unless Sen does something about it. We've seen this before with Gonzi versus 5. If Terran can get into that spot, and looks like Strelok going to get in there for now, but the Banelings are still in plentiful numbers, and look at that. Sen with just the right number of Banelings to clean everything up. My goodness.
I think the only way to actually make that is to target down the Banelings. He needs to just stop and use the map structure, have those Marauders tank the damage, and take out all the Banelings. But he didn't do that, and as you can see, Strelok is so far behind. Sen is going to come in here with all these Zerglings. He can't actually engage just yet, but he can force some sort of reaction, threatening some sort of huge Zergling Baneling attack off of 3 bases.
Strelok checking up as normal, getting up 5 barracks. Very, very typical as a common thing for Terrans. We see that Sen now finally getting his layers. A lot more delayed because obviously he was spending his time defending, but his drone count is very healthy. In fact, 1 drone has been lost the entire game from Sen, as his 4th base is very comfortable and pretty much uninhibited. And I mean, what can you really do here from Strelok, especially if you lost that much and you didn't really get as much damage
It's difficult. I mean, right now the ball is in Sen's court. He can do whatever he wants, and it's up to Strelok to actually choose to defend it properly. He doesn't even have a lot of counterattacking options or a lot of harass options, because think, it comes very off time. He doesn't know what his opponent is capable of. Well, he does know. He's capable of everything, but he doesn't know what his opponent is doing. It could be Mutas, could be straight to Hive, could be Infestors, could be Roaches. There's so many different things. So he might just take a gamble and say, let's do a medevac drop. But even that, it's like, is it going to be sustainable? Is it safe? And I would actually say, no, it isn't. From here, I think Strelok's better option and more conservative option would have been to double factory and not go the starport route and just get your upgrades, plan for some sort of 2-2 timing, and don't even worry about medevacs. That's a style that we've seen a while ago. Actually, I would say NASL Season 1, that was a little bit relevant. But at least you're able to defend against everything. You're not harassing as much, but you're still able to do pushes. And as soon as you go out for the push, you get your initial medevacs, and that's okay.
Sen knows the 3rd is coming. He's got a very nice welcome party laid out, a carpet of blue, if you will, for that 3rd base. And just as soon as he sees that, he just immediately leaves. Strelok gonna go into denial mode, trying to see if he can really shut down any option for Sen to have his 5th base. Which, speaking of which, his 4th base is pretty exposed as well. A couple Zerglings and Banelings. As long as Strelok pays attention to his units this far, he should be able to pick off some units there and forcing Sen to pull back. This is really good here from Strelok, as long as he doesn't run into those Banelings.
Wow, good job, Strelok.
Yeah, good job. And +2/+2.
Yeah, there are no Infestors out. 125 not Banelings, I would love that, but 125 Zerglings out in the field.
125 Banelings.
That would be moon status.
That'd be awesome. That'd be July. I think July one time had like 86 Banelings or something. That was
so mannered, man.
But Strelok has, his army in place to really defend the 3rd. And Sen, look at how many Zerglings, but they're so wide open. There's nothing really there to defend the natural except 1 tank and a couple of Marines. Sen is making 25 Banelings.
And he's going for the Zergling Baneling bust. Whether it's the natural or the 3rd, he doesn't care. He just wants to trade. Now the 16 Marines will drop in the top, or excuse me, 14 Marines will drop in the top right-hand corner. And it looks like they're inbound for that 4th base. Banelings will roll through.
Strelok's not siege. This is not very good for that whatsoever for our Terran player. No, Strelok doesn't have a good enough position whatsoever. The Banelings actually take a lot out onto the tank, but there's just way too many units. Strelok, his 3rd is as good as dead, as the drop also has been taken care of. GG comes out of Strelok. Sen takes game number 3.
Well played by Sen. Of course, Strelok was pretty much relegated to that, but you know, he's going to take the series 2-1. And he's actually going to give Strelok his 2nd defeat in the North American Star League. This is actually 2 losses in a row for Strelok. He lost last week, and he loses this week. Yeah. Very surprising.
And that means Huck is #1 division.
New winner.
Yeah. Not forever, until next week again. But Sen also goes into #2 spot, taking just ahead of Strelok. Strelok falls to 3rd for now. There's a couple of things that could be tweaked depending on how Gonzi and some other people play out, which of course will be settled later on tonight. But yeah, let's talk a little bit more about that series. Andre, what are your thoughts before we close out that match?
Okay. For Sen
versus Strelok. Did you have anything last comment?
Well, I did want to say one last thing was Huck actually has 1 less game played, so he could get a loss or win from that. But the fact of the matter is Huck is leading the division, and he has the potential to lead even further. So it's really important in that respect. But yeah, I think overall Sen just played a marvelous series, and game number 3 was pretty easy after defending against the Marine Marauder timing.
Game number 3 was also brought to you by Epson, the people who provide the projectors for NASL Season 3. Thank you so much, Epson, for all you do for our season. Guys, the next series will be Gonzi versus TLO. We were talking about Gonzi, about his positioning for 3rd or 2nd, depending on how he does. That's going to be live, so don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be back right after this.